Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I have seen so many times in my comments below my videos, as well as in my Facebook group, where people will post or comment and say, I have lost my inspiration to color anything and I want to know how to get that back. I want to know how to feel motivated again to pull out a coloring book and color something beautiful. In this video, I'm going to share 3 different challenges with you that will hopefully inspire you to bring back some of that motivation to want to color. And even if you're not in a coloring slump right now or in this very moment, I'm sure you've experienced that sort of burnout at times. No matter what hobby it is, I feel like we all get to the point where we experience a little bit of burnout and we have to sort of switch gears and go to something else. But a lot of times when it comes to coloring, it puts us into our own little place and takes us away from whatever we may have going on in our real lives that may be causing us a little bit of stress. So I thought this video was really important so that you can look at some of these different challenges and see if maybe one of them will inspire you so that you can continue to keep coloring. If you check the description box below, you will find links down there for everything that you see in this video, as well as my Facebook group, my email list, my Etsy shop, and my Patreon if you would like to support me there. I also now have channel membership. If you would like to find more out about that, you can just click the join button down below the video. So my first idea is to use a color palette. Now, if you've been watching my channel for the last couple years or since I started here, you know that we actually did a couple color alongs where we used color palettes. Now, I think color palettes are really important because they help to take away a little bit of that frustration that comes with choosing colors. This is Sarah Renee Clark's color catalog, and it is just so useful because there are tons of color palettes. She has 2 of them available, color catalog number 1 and then color catalog 2, and each one of them has 250 color palettes to choose from. I like keeping it on my phone. Some people do print it out. She does now have the color cubes available where it is actually a printed out version in cards of the color catalog and comes in a cube, which is a really great idea. I haven't purchased mine yet. I'm still debating whether or not I really need to because I really like my color catalogs. I like to keep it on my phone because I like the fact that it is actually interactive. You've got these choices here: browse by colors, browse by keywords, and browse by collections. And you can choose however you want to browse the color palettes. So if I click here, browse by colors, it's going to automatically take me to these pages here where I can click on any color I would like to browse by. I could click here on the home button and it's going to take me right back to the front page, and I can go back here and browse by keywords. So any category I would like to see, I can go right to the color palette. And then if I click back up here, that will automatically as well take me right back to browse by colors. If I click on this little magnifying glass, that's going to take me directly to the keywords. So you could do it by the corner of every page, or you can use the search features by the actual main page or the home page of the color catalog. But if you just scroll through here, you can see that there are tons of color palettes. So no matter what colors you're looking for, you will definitely find them here. This one is really beautiful. I love those colors. But look at all of these that are very autumn themed. These are very fitting for some of the pages that you're probably coloring right now. And then here we've got some gorgeous blues. But if we go back here to the home page, and we want to search by keywords, we can go here to autumn, and then it will show us here all of the color palettes for autumn. So I can just click on one of these and choose it. Let's choose this one here, and it will pull up the color palette. Now this one has some beautiful blues and a yellow and then an orange and what looks like maybe burnt ochre in our Prismacolor set. And then if you go down here, you can see that it also provides you with the hex codes for each one of these colors. You can also purchase Sarah Renee Clark's color companions that go along with the color catalog. And those are very helpful if you want to match up each one of these blocks on any of the color palettes to any specific color in any of your colored pencil sets. If you are interested in Sarah Renee Clark's color catalog, I will have links down in the description box below. I wanted to share this color palette idea with you first because some of the other ideas I'm going to share with you, you can also use a color palette along with those ideas. Challenging yourself with a color palette is a really great idea because it encourages you to pull out some of the colors that you wouldn't normally use in your colored pencil sets. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I would go about choosing my colors. I'm not going to do the whole entire color palette because I have videos on that, and I'll link one of them in the upper right hand corner. So I want to search by collections because I don't think I've showed you that one yet, but we've got landscapes, summer, autumn. Let's go ahead and go with summer because I would imagine those are going to be some really beautiful colors. I'm going to click on this one here. I feel like that one is really pretty. So as you can see, we've got 5 boxes here on this color palette. And so we're going to want to choose 3 colors for each one of these boxes. And in the end, we would come up with 15 colors in total to be able to use on a coloring page. So let's say we wanted to use this page here and we decided to go with this color palette. We are going to choose the colors that would go along with this color palette. So I've got my Prismacolors here. We have our color palette. I've got a scrap sheet of paper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to match up some of these colors here. And so I'm going to zoom in on one of these colors. And I think this one looks very much like Clay Rose. So I'm going to go ahead and put this color down here on the paper. And you can see that is very, very close. So then you just need to put some colors together for this block. So if I went with Clay Rose, I think that Pink Rose would be really pretty with that. And then I would need a darkest color to go along with that. And I chose Chestnut. So right away, I was able to create a color combination that I can use on my coloring page for this block here. And you would just go through and you would do the same thing for each one of these blocks. So if you were coloring this page here, you would only have 15 pencils when you were done to be able to use on this coloring page. And it really ends up taking away a lot of the frustration that you may experience when you're trying to choose colors. But I have plenty of videos where I have showed how to use a color palette and put together all of the colors, and I've done the whole thing for you. So I will link that up in the upper right hand corner. So my next challenge for you is to find a new book to color in. Now, if you absolutely love coloring flowers, I know for me, I always tend to pull this book out all of the time. But if you really enjoy coloring flowers and you are always pulling out a book like Johanna Basford's World of Flowers, which I know we all love, but you still want to color flowers, maybe a different style of flower, a different style of artwork, I would get another book with lots of flowers in it. So this is The Flower Year by Layla Dooley. And there are some really gorgeous flowers in here. Now this book is quite a bit smaller than Johanna Basford's books. So if you're in the middle of a coloring slump and you don't want a bigger page to color and you just want something a little bit easier, then maybe this is for you. You've still got the flowers in this book, lots and lots of flowers. This one's a double page spread. So if you are in a coloring slump, I would probably stay away from those. But there are some very small images in this book that are still flowers that you can color. This would be a super quick color, as well as this one. You can even color both of these on this page and then come in and do a beautiful background here. But there are some gorgeous flowers in this book, and there's just so many very little small images, and you can even pull out some of your other mediums and do a background and experiment with that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that for my next coloring challenge. This is a really beautiful book if you still want to color flowers and you just want to try a different type of artwork. Here is another one. This is Flowerscape by Maggie Anterios. I think I'm saying her last name right. Hopefully I am. But this book has a lot of beautiful flowers in it too. I actually just bought this book. But again, you've got very small little images of flowers. You can work on a background here. And I love how this book lays out very, very flat. That makes it so easy to color. The paper in this one is a little bit smoother. With that being said, I would assume that polychromos would probably work beautifully in this book. And the paper is quite a bit thicker, but the pages are double-sided. But there's lots of beautiful flowers in this book. And it is just a whole other art style. And just like the flower year, you've got these pages where you just have one image or one type of flower on each page. So if you're in a coloring slump and you just want to color something quick and get it done, you can color one of the pages like this. But lots of flowers, lots of leaves, some butterflies on some of the pages. And this is just another really nice book. So if you are just really uninspired and not motivated and you just want to find something a little bit different to color, I would suggest finding another artist, maybe one that you have never colored before. Now, for me, I always tend to pull out Johanna Basford's books, or something from Deborah Muller, or something from Hannah Carlson. I've been loving her books lately. But if you want to color something a little bit different, I'm just going to give you a few suggestions. Oh, this is Bloom, Flower Girl Portraits by Deborah Muller, and I absolutely love this book. If you want to color portraits that are a little bit different from what you would typically find, I would grab this book. And of course you are going to see flowers in here, but they're just sort of mixed in like in some of the girls' hair, because this book is, of course, Flower Girl Portraits. So you are going to get the flowers too. So if you still love flowers and you want to color some flowers, but you want to color them in a little bit of a different way, then this would be a fantastic book for you. Now, Deborah Muller does also have an Etsy shop. So if you don't want to color on the Amazon paper, you can also download her PDFs and you can print it on any paper you want. Now, I colored this one and I colored it on the tan tone paper and it turned out absolutely beautiful. But here it is right here. You've probably seen this in some of my previous videos, but I absolutely love the way that this one turned out, and I love how it looks on the tan tone paper. Now, with the tan tone paper, you do have to get a paper cutter and cut it down because it only comes in a 9x12 pad. This is the Strathmore tan tone paper, but I absolutely love this paper, and it is a much quicker color because it does have a little bit of tooth, but you don't have to lay down layer after layer after layer. It makes it much quicker if you just want to get something done. Again, taking away from a lot of that tedious laying layer after layer after layer with your colored pencils. And maybe that will motivate you again to color just a little bit more. But just so you can see how beautiful these portraits are, this is what it looks like uncolored. And then this is what it looks like once it has been brought to life. So another wonderful artist is Christine Karen. I know a lot of us are familiar with her, but I'm just going to show you some of the images in this book because they are a little bit different. And if you're sick of coloring flowers and you just want to color something else, or maybe those of you that are not familiar with Christine Karen, her artwork is absolutely beautiful. But lots of fairies in this book, and the illustrations are just gorgeous. It is grayscale, which I absolutely love. So again, just so you can see how gorgeous her illustrations are once they're brought to life. This is the one that I colored, so you could see it uncolored and then colored. And I did add a whole lot of texture here on the tree. You could see what it did look like before and what it looks like now. So you can be a little bit extra artistic if you want to, or you can just straight color it, but her images are wonderful. But this is Fairies 3 by Christine Karen. And this one here is Jewelry Box by Hannah Carlson. I love her books, but if you want to color something just a little bit different, I feel like her artwork is very different. You're going to get lots of jewels like this if you want to practice coloring different jewels. You could probably color this page here rather quickly and then do a beautiful background. I actually have this one marked here because I wanted to color this one. Here over on the other side, we have a cat and a frog, some lily pads in the pond, but that's another really cute one. Over here we have a dog, and then we've got some more jewels here, or lockets that are really, really adorable. And there are some quick colors, as you can see in this book too. Here's another one that would be rather quick to color, but her artwork is rather different. And if you wanted to color a portrait, her portraits are very different than anybody else's that I've ever seen. She really stands out to me. Deborah Muller's portraits really stand out to me as well. Now, if you just want to color portraits, beautiful portraits, this is Elegant Beauties by Elena Lazareva, and she doesn't really get talked about in the coloring community, I don't feel like, enough. And she's got some really beautiful books out there. She has a Pirates book that is very, very different that I absolutely love. She has this one with lots of portraits in it. This one is Elegant Beauties, but I'll just flip through here really quickly and you can see some of these gorgeous images that are in this book. But I feel like there are some artists that we don't see a whole lot when people are sharing their coloring pages, and I feel like she is one of them. Now this one here, as I said, she has a Pirates book. This one is from her Pirates book. That is also a grayscale book, and I don't know, I just really love grayscale. It really helps you to know where to lay the colors, and I feel like that takes away a little bit of the stress as well, because you know exactly where to lay your darkest colors, your midtones, and your lightest colors. But there's just some really beautiful images in this book. And then this is another one of my absolute favorite books and one of my favorite artists. This is Wild Soul by Grazia Salvo, and I don't feel like she gets talked about enough either. And I see her colored images shared mostly when she comes out with a brand new book. I've colored a couple of the images in here. I have also printed these out onto a different paper rather than coloring in the book, just because for this one I want to save the book. This is a smoother paper, but I feel like when I print these out with my printer and I print them onto my own paper, it lightens up the grayscale just a little bit for me. So I did complete this one. This was a full color along on my channel, but this is what the final page looks like. I love how that turned out. Again, you can see what it looks like uncolored and then what it looks like once it's been brought to life. But there are just so many cool animals in this book, and they're all with different women that are so beautiful. I also colored this one, and I can't find that one right at the moment, but you will find it if you look at my video where I show all my colored pages. I'll link that in the upper right hand corner. But this is one artist that I just don't feel like gets shared enough, and her images are absolutely beautiful. So it just really helps when you don't have a whole lot of coloring inspiration at the moment to find a different artist. And you can do that by just going on YouTube and typing in coloring book flip throughs and looking at a bunch of different flip throughs to see which artist really stands out for you. And then just purchase a couple of their books or go to their Etsy shops and purchase their PDFs. Now, Grazia Salvo, she does have an Etsy shop as well. You can go there and buy her books digitally, and you can also buy her artist grade books, which are on much, much better paper. But you can also get a couple of her books from Amazon. Okay, so my third challenge for you is to color something with coloring supplies that you have not used in quite a while. So look around your coloring space and decide, okay, what haven't I used? What can I pull out right now and just experiment with and play around with? But I feel like doing that really adds a whole lot to your coloring page when you mix different mediums together. Now, this page I did, and it is completely mixed media. And the only place that I have pencils is as an overlay. And then I think the hair I did with all colored pencils. So the only thing on this page that is full on colored pencils is the hair. And then I just added some shadows and some darker areas with my colored pencils. But I love the way that this turned out. This was done with alcohol markers. I believe I used my Cali Art alcohol markers, but these are my Cali Art markers. This is the very first set of markers that I ever purchased. They have the little tiny nib tip on one end, and then they have the bullet nib on the other end. So they are not a brush marker. So since all these brush markers have come out, I'm pretty sure these have dropped in price significantly, and you can get them now for super, super cheap. but there's some gorgeous colors in here. This is actually the marker set that I used for a very long time until I ever got a brush set of markers. And sometimes I prefer the bullet nib, but I did use those markers for the background on this page. I took a black marker and just colored all of this in to create the black background because I thought it would really stand out, or all of the bright, vibrant colors would really pop out with the black background. I also used my Color It gel pens for this page. Here are all my Color It gel pens. They're my absolute favorite. This case here is the glitter set. And then this set here is your more basic set with some of your neons and your other colors. And of course, there are still glitters in this set as well. But I believe the price on these has come down significantly on Amazon as well. But I believe that all of this in here is all gel pen. I think that this over here is alcohol marker, all of the hot pink. And then I just came over with my Pablo colored pencils and darkened some of the darker areas up where I wanted shadows and such. And I did it here around the windows where you could see a little bit of shading sort of on the outside. And then on the much outer part here around the windows, I used pencils as well. And then over here on the tires, but I only used the pencils to go over the top of the markers. So most of this page was done with markers. And when I did this page, I was in a coloring slump and I just was not in the mood to color anything. And this is back when Hannah Lynn was getting ready to release her new book, Whimsy Girls Through the Decades. And this was the free page that she put out. And I thought it was the most adorable, fun page. And it just really inspired me to want to color something. And to inspire myself even more, I decided that I wasn't going to use my colored pencils aside from just using them as an overlay in some places. And I absolutely love the way that it turned out. I even used Posca pen in here. All these little dots, I believe, are my white Posca. And then all of the glitter that you see here on the stars, those are Stickles. And it's probably one of these colors here, like the diamond, or possibly the unicorn. This is one of my favorites, this unicorn color, but I have so many Stickles and they just add so much to a coloring page. So doing something very mixed media or using other coloring supplies does not have to be expensive. I'm not saying go out and buy or purchase new coloring supplies. I'm saying use what you have. Just look around your coloring space. I know so many of us have so many supplies that we are just not currently using. And sometimes we just don't pull out our gel pens and we focus so much on just using colored pencils, and sometimes colored pencils can be frustrating and create a little bit of overwhelm, and I've seen it and I've felt it too myself. So when you bring out some of these other supplies, they are much simpler to use, and when you mix them up together, you can really create something beautiful. Now these are super cheap. You can get any set of gel pens on Amazon and they're not even more than $20, and I'm sure you probably even have gel pens laying around. And then Stickles, they are not that expensive. If you want glitter on your pages, you don't have to use Stickles. There are so many other mediums you can use for glitter. Even if you have some little glitter jars laying around or glitter glue pens laying around from other crafts, or your kids have some laying around, or even your grandkids, you can use those on your coloring pages. But then we have our coloring supplies that a lot of us go out and we purchase that are much more expensive. And I am guilty of that too. And these are my Neo colors that I wanted so badly. I only had a very small set of 10, but I wanted this biggest set so much. And you could see by looking at these that like some of the blues are used. I think I used these on a tutorial where I showed how to color clouds. But these are so much fun to work with, and I just really am guilty of that too. I need to pull these out and I really need to use them because these are one of the most fun art supplies that I have, and anytime I've used them I have really enjoyed them, but I don't pull them out enough. And we just can't let our coloring supplies that we have go to waste or just sit there. We really need to pull them out, especially when you have more expensive ones like something like these Caran d'Ache Neo colors. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that these different challenge ideas provided you with a little bit of inspiration to want to sit down and color. And I know that this video will be here forever so that you all can come back when you are feeling uninspired and get some ideas and maybe use one of them to sit down and create something beautiful. Everything that you have seen in this video, I will have linked down in the description box below. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.